Chick. Chick. Chick.
Talk.
Chick.
Talk.
Chick.
Talk.
Chick.
What are we ticking about?
Talk.
TikTok. It's Friday. That's what we're
It's a
talking
countdown.
Oh, what are we counting down?
7 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barris.
And this was the week that was, and thank God it will come around again for at least 4 years.
Oh my gosh, what a week this has been.
Yeah, I mean, in a roller coaster all week long. Can we do just Groundhog Day all day today and just keep repeating what
No.
we just started with? Don't want to do that.
No.
I could record it and we could just, sit back and let it play. Oh,
No. I'm still tired. I got home last night because I had to go to class last night.
I know. I saw your picture of a doggy.
I'm going to tell you what an experience that was last night. Yeah, beautiful dog named Gus.
Here this morning?
Well, I talked to quite a few people last night.
Taken him home and then brought him in here this morning.
Beautiful red lab.
You have a new dog?
No, it was the sheriff's office drug dog.
Oh, okay.
He's about 3 years old.
Hey,
Beautiful.
we could just screen everybody when they come through the door in the mornings. What do you think?
He was just beautiful.
I wonder if Shockwave would like to be trained to be a drug dog.
I told you,
Oh,
my dog's
Shockwave.
Shockwave.
Shockwave will sleep on the job a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
oh,
sorry.
yeah.
We train him search for food.
That sweet baby
Well,
will sleep on.
that's what he's
No,
doing
that
right
would
now.
be Jake.
No, let me tell you,
Jake finds it.
he ate that whole dish fast this morning.
Oh,
He
it's
was
already
just-
gone?
It's already gone.
He was
wow.
scared Jake was going to eat it.
Yeah,
That's what it
usually
is.
what it is.
Him or Lucy.
I was looking. I didn't know we'd put it back down there, but anyway, that's
No.
good.
I put it down there. He ate it all and nothing left. I saved crumbs for Jake in case.
I got red on. Yeah, I got red on. I forgot for a minute. whether I put it
Jacksonville
on or not.
Cardinal shirt.
I think I'm lining up my.
Kelly's going to show her red.
I just
New
got a little,
England.
yeah. I got to do laundry. I hadn't done my pinks and reds yet. So this is what I'm doing. It's got red on it.
There's no such
It's
color.
the best I could do.
There is no such color as pink. It's just faded
Here we
red.
go.
Okay, fine. Even better. There's like a lot of pink shirts. Okay, I'll
It
remember that
started
next
out as
week.
red, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. I understand.
Red. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, the Cardinals are not playing tonight, y'all. But we do know that they're going to play in Onslow County in Jacksonville at Jacksonville High School next Friday night. They're going to whoop somebody's butt. I don't know who it's going to be yet, but they're going to whoop somebody's
We
butt.
will be there.
Oh yeah. It'll be a fun week to look forward to. So we can talk about
Yes.
that a lot next week. That might be the non-political story that we can get out and deal with all week long. Probably not, but it's a good thought.
I will tell you what, all the conspiracies have hit the airwaves in the last 2 days.
Oh, just like
I can't even open up social media. It's
Oh, it's just gotten
I try not
ridiculous.
to.
it's just crazy.
Well, I did social media yesterday. I posted a picture.
Yes, you did your summer vegetables, fall
I
vegetables.
walked out and I looked by there yesterday. I forgot what I was doing, maybe dumping the trash or doing something. I said, whoa, that's a whole lot of stuff out there. I had no idea it was still coming on.
Yes.
So I went out with a bag and loaded the bag up. And y'all, if you want to see some pretty stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the prettiest
It's beautiful.
crops that I've ever seen.
Oh, it's
Now I've got to figure
beautiful.
out what to do with it. And if somebody's got some recently killed Bambi,
No.
let me know
No,
because I'm making chili.
but you eat.
Kelly and I stand firm on
Yeah,
this.
we don't
Well,
do that.
good. You wouldn't eat it.
No, not going to eat it.
I'm going to tell you what, the last
You
couple
would.
mornings on
No,
my way
I
here.
don't like the taste of deer meat. It's disgusting.
You have no idea what it tastes
There's
like because it
plenty-
hasn't been fixed right for
There's
you.
been plenty of Bambi along the
Yeah.
sides of the roads the last
Yeah.
couple mornings.
Yeah, some of those people with dogs and stuff like that
Yes.
you're familiar with up in your neck of the
Out there on their own.
and those
Makes me so
the
mad.
deer are not done quite the same way when you prepare when you
Okay.
prep it. So if you do it right, it's good. It's really, really
That's like
really good.
bear meat.
Well, bear meat can't be good anyway.
My
They live
neighbor
in the woods.
tricked me into eating some bear meat.
Yeah,
First bite, I almost spit it out, but I didn't want to be rude.
well,
I
I don't
would've
mind
been
being,
rude.
I don't mind being rude.
I don't eat
But yeah, he had told me it was steak, bear steak. He left out the bear. And so when I chewed on it, it tasted like
Leather.
freezer burn,
Yeah.
freezer burn meat.
Okay.
And then he told me it was bear. I swear I was sick the rest of it.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes. Somebody tricked me into eating pig's feet one time.
Why?
I
Would
don't
you
know.
even? I mean,
mean,
they are
don't you know
obviously
where-
pig's feet
Don't
when
you
you
know
look at
where pigs walk? Ugh. Whatever. I don't think you can clean that stuff
Never
off a
thought
pig's
about
foot.
it that way. Well, you know, when you go to the grocery store, it used to be there was one certain store here
Oh,
in Jacksonville.
yes, it was.
They had pig's feet, pigtail, pig tongue, pig.
Oh, there's beef tongue. They had beef tongue and pig's feet.
Now, my sister-in-law cooked a beef tongue
Oxtail.
one time.
You ever had oxtail?
Oh, no.
You probably have. You just didn't
If it
know.
doesn't say chicken or steak or hamburger on it, I'm out. I'm just a simple country girl. Just,
Well, I use
Oh,
venison
goodness.
as hamburger.
a lot of people do, and it's really hard to tell the difference.
Oh, well, you can because it's not greasy.
So, yeah, except for the grease. But you would probably, like, if you put deer meat in chili, and your average person probably would not know.
They'll just know it tastes better. They don't know why.
I'm sticking to the hamburger.
Well,
Now I know I'm not going to eat any of your chili. So
more for me.
that's fine. Eat it
Yeah,
up.
it's not a
The
problem.
last time he made chili, though, with other things, it was really good.
You don't even know now what you were eating.
No,
It could have been
I
way
asked
too.
him. He said it was hamburger. So
That was.
yeah, I believed him.
I told you it was ground beef.
Did you hear the "I told you" part?
It is ground. It was ground beef.
Yes.
Deer beef,
What's wrong with
possum beef.
No, it wasn't possum beef. Possum is not beef.
Wow.
There's plenty of possum along the roads now if you need
Always,
any.
always.
Good Lord.
All right, let's get on to the mess. Goodness. It did not take our president-elect very long to make history for the first time ever.
Yes, he did.
The Trump administration will have a female chief of staff.
Okay, girl.
Donald J. Trump made that announcement yesterday, just a day after it became clear, early Wednesday, that he had won the electoral vote and the popular vote in this country. Described as a longtime GOP operative, Susie Wiles, oh, this ought to be fun, is credited with running Trump's campaign this time around. She didn't do it the other times.
No.
It was a campaign, we've all got to admit it, that only now experts are talking about it and about how smooth that it was handled.
Mm-hmm.
Other politicians are looking at it now, and even his opponents, and said, where did all that happen? And Trump was basically under a lot of control.
Right.
If she was in charge of all of that, which I understand she was, I'll give her kudos for containing the oftentimes volatile Donald J. Trump. For anyone. But apparently she handled it well. She's a seer.
Mm-hmm.
If she was actually able to pull, she'll likely find the chief of staff position. It's probably going to be a walk in the park for her.
She's got a great dad. You know who her dad
I
is?
do not.
Pat Summerall, the sportscaster.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
I had no clue.
I didn't till
Oh, my
yesterday. Yeah,
goodness
she comes from good
gracious.
stock.
Go, Susie.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can.
Yep.
There's lots of songs
He
out
was
there
a-
about Susie, so we can pull them down.
he was a
anytime.
good sports announcer. He used to announce with John Madden a lot. So
Mhm.
I didn't know that either till last night. I saw it on a thing.
Interesting too is that I don't remember seeing her hugging the limelight.
I didn't
During
see
the
her at all.
campaign.
Didn't even know who his
I
campaign
saw
manager
her
was.
Wednesday morning in the wee morning hours when he introduced her.
Yeah,
Right.
she did not want to
Acknowledged
come
her.
out.
No, she didn't want to come out.
Mm-mm. He had to
She
force
still,
her to come
she
out.
still kind of stayed in the
I
background.
wonder if he listens to her. He don't
Oh,
listen to anybody
absolutely.
else. Well, she must command a presence then.
Oh,
Because-
you either behave or I'll whip you.
Yeah, because
I will spank you.
like
And
anybody.
my daddy, I
He'll
know now,
listen
my
to
daddy will
nobody.
call you out on TV.
Yeah.
Well, he's got some strong, intelligent women working for him. Look at Linda McMahon. She's really good too.
I don't know who
So
she
I
is,
didn't
but-
tell you who the VP's manager was. Do you have any clue?
No.
I don't either.
Oh.
Oh,
Whenever I sensed the presence of one, I just tuned it off, left. Campaign managers never impress me. This one impresses me because I didn't even see her, didn't hear from her, nothing. She was not the spokesperson for Donald J. Trump.
No.
Number one, he wouldn't like it. Number two, she's the perfect person for him to have in control of his stupidity at times. Hopefully he will. From what I have seen so far, I think he's learned a lesson. what a campaign manager has to say has no interest for me
Okay.
overall.
Mhm.
I will have to wait and see how she actually performs as the chief of staff. For the country's sake, Donald Trump, from what I've seen so far, he should be listening to her and he should act accordingly. Time to grow up, 78-year-old man. As the president and commander in chief, you need to grow up.
Well, there's a lot
How's
to
that
be
sound?
done. There's a lot to be done.
Well, he's on a roll. He's moving forward. But he's got obstacles already.
Of course.
We heard about Letitia James. We talked about her.
Yeah, I saw her news conference. Not impressed with her. Never have been.
New Jersey's governor has got his drawers pulled up around his neck right now. He's upset, as so many other people are, the Democrat governors in this country. Governor Phil Murphy will fight to the death, he said, a kind of wild thing to be saying. I will
Right.
fight to the death against anything Trump does that goes
Mhm.
against the state's values. His words, as we respect the peaceful transition of power, if there is any attack at on the Garden State or any of its communities from Washington, I will fight back with every fiber of my being. I admit, I will tell you that, I miss a lot of the back and forth BS political bickering, but if there was a war of words between Trump and the Jersey governor,
Right.
I'll tell you, I would enjoy it
But
for a
yet,
little while.
all I've
Because
heard,
honestly, I'm glad to express total ignorance on this one.
all I've
I don't
heard
know.
over the last 24 hours is from the Democratic Party is we need to come together.
I
We need
heard
to
that.
work together. Same thing the Republicans said when they went through it. But, we need to come together. We need to work together. We need to put our differences
Well,
aside.
they're doing that up at Harvard.
Just,
Okay, you listen up, you wildly literate individuals out there. I'm talking about you guys.
Oh, no, we're ignorant women.
Please tell me, please send the wet behind the ear students at Harvard some fresh pacifiers. They
Jesus.
need them. The school, Harvard, and its professors are in such a state of
I
shock
know. I laughed
and
at that.
dismay that they canceled
Mhm.
several classes, claiming that it was necessary so the children who were old enough to vote could, their words, process the aftermath of President-elect Trump's win.
Well,
You've got to be kidding.
They send counselors out.
well, and seeing
It gets worse.
the pictures of all the female young Kamala supporters crying and carrying on, like,
Yeah.
I mean, people always talk about
Some of those weren't females. They just looked like
entitlements and I mean, I just cannot fathom that anybody would get this worked up over something. I mean, it's just, I just do not understand. Like, I don't get it. Are you that clueless of how things really work? Are you,
yes.
is it, you listen too
Factually,
much to this
yes.
media going around and telling you whatever? Can you not think for yourself? Is this a herd mentality? Like, what is it?
In some of the classes there,
Ridiculous.
attendance was optional.
Oh my
Attendance
gosh.
was optional.
Stay home and
Attendance was optional, and deadlines for assignments were extended.
Who is running Harvard?
No one. Economics lecturer Maxim Boysko. He wrote in a Wednesday email to students in Economics 1010A, Intermediate Microeconomics, that the course's typical in-class quizzes would be optional. His email was published by the student newspaper. Congratulations to them for doing that. It read, as we recover from the eventful election night and process the implications of Trump's victory, please know that class will proceed as usual today, except that classroom quizzes will not be for credit. Feel free to take time off if needed. That's what this professor
yeah, he didn't
wrote.
want all that snow melting in his class. Ridiculous.
I really pity these crybabies.
Right.
And that's what they are. They're crybabies. That includes the professors, not just the students.
They're so liberal.
Should they ever end up in the real world, they're doomed. I sincerely hope that Harvard and its babies are an anomaly in the world of higher education. I did not hear of any other schools doing that. Maybe I missed it. Harvard stood out among whatever. One student, talking with a newspaper, said everyone she knew backed Harris and that she and her fellow Kamala-lites, that's a new word that I invented, knew it was a done deal, that she was going to be president.
Mm-hmm.
More proof that they are living in their own world, far, far from the real life they will be thrust into one day, woke, but certainly not awake. I can only hope that the commanders of our Army's Rangers and the Navy's SEAL teams don't feel it necessary today or this week or next week to allow those men and women who actually defend the rights of babies to be babies to sulk. Your turn if you want to chat. 910-333-0139. 910-333-0139.
Well, you see Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I have not. I picked the highlights of a few stories to read.
She put out an essay yesterday telling all the Democrats that they must continue to fight, and especially in Congress. They need to fight every single thing in Congress that the Republicans try to do. Now, you've got the president and the vice president all saying, we need to work together, we need to come together. And then you have somebody like Senator Elizabeth Warren saying, we need to fight back. We need to fight every fight in Congress. I mean, come on.
Well, when Letitia James, she is the AG for New York, right?
Right.
She's the one who said she's going to keep an eye on everything that Trump does, and he's not above additional prosecution, going after him. If he needs to, we need to go after him in a heartbeat.
Oh, so
okay.
She's going to take on
a staunch ally of President-elect Trump. His name is Mike Davis. He's a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Had some kind of harsh words for Ms. Letitia James.
Let it go, Letitia.
It was on the Benny Hill podcast yesterday. His words. Let me just say this to Big Tish James, the New York Attorney General. I dare you to continue your lawfare against President Trump in his second term. Because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat A in prison for conspiracy against rights, and I promise you that.
Whoa.
Whoa, that's what I said. My hair stood up on the back of my neck, even though I knew what I was going to read, but I stood up again. Lord have mercy.
Oh,
that would get my attention.
There. He put it out. Well, you know, sometimes it's hard for losers to accept the loss.
It is.
It's crazy.
And, you know, when you come out making threats like she did, when you do that on the day of the votes are counted that morning,
she's going to find
2
herself.
2:00 in the morning, he was the president-elect. And before the sun was up good, she was out there in front of a camera making those statements.
She's going to find herself as an ADA in some little small town somewhere.
I'm sure it would have to be somewhere where they just are desperate, don't know who she is, and maybe she could do traffic court, accepting guilty pleas.
Bam, guilty of speeding 1 mile over the speed limit. 30 days in jail.
I don't believe she could convict anybody for speeding in some of these small towns.
She's going to lose all her credibility.
You know, what is she thinking? Just because she's an African-American female, she can get away with stuff like that? She's making a name for herself, but not the name she wanted. She has made a name for herself, and it's just not going to go well.
Fat A?
Yeah. And he's a lawyer.
Wow.
Sue me. He could go.
Wow.
He could sue me because he could say sue me, and he could prove it. Get me a ruler, and I'll show you. Make it a yardstick. I'm gonna need it.
Oh my goodness. Oh, just.
You know what? This is. I'm glad they're nipping this thing in the bud.
Fat A.
There is no reason to wait until he's president if these people are coming out of their. What do you call dungeons? If these folks are coming out already and going on a preemptive strike, without having anything in their arsenal.
Right.
Not a good plan. And it just shows your true colors. And they're not nice. This is dumb. Wait for something to occur. I mean, it's kind of like police officers arresting you is a preemptive. Yeah. Okay. You look like you might be the kind of person that I should arrest someday. So I'm going to go ahead and do it today. No, you can't do that kind of stuff. That's not the way it does. You can't do it. You can promise drug dealers, because you know who they are. And if you come back in here again, you can promise the people when you go to a loud party, you got a loud party going on here. Now, if I have to come back here, somebody's going with me. That's a standard procedure. That's a way to stop people from continuing to break the law while they're breaking the law.
Well, let me ask you this. You talk about people that substance. What in the heck has happened to late night TV? I don't watch the late night shows anymore.
I saw a little bit last night. I said, what is this?
Have you seen Jimmy Kimmel?
Yes.
What happened to the funds?
He got on there Wednesday night crying.
They got too liberal.
Crying.
And that's Hollywood. I was just sitting here reading a list of the stars that claimed they were going to move out of the U.S. Go.
Have you got your ticket yet?
Hey,
nobody.
Let's do a GoFundMe. I'll help support.
I will say, I think Hollywood got a little,
too big for their pants.
And now they're realizing that they're all their endorsements and their whatever.
Useless.
I mean, first of all, George Clooney lives in Italy, like what?
Right.
Yeah.
10 months out of the year.
What good is he?
What did he do? Julia Roberts has been. Cher, old.
Oh my God.
I'm reading this list. Like
how many have fat A's?
God. Billie Eilish. Nobody cares about her. Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
I obviously don't care about him because I don't even
I don't
know who
like
they are.
Taylor
She licked all those
Swift.
donuts.
Taylor Swift.
Well, they took her down.
After all that, what happened, Taylor? Well, they said she's going to write another song about choosing the wrong guy.
Well, she's done that a few times herself, so that's all right.
Her boyfriend's been charged with a recent charge because slapping a cell phone out of a fan's hand.
That was his brother.
Was it? They're saying it was him.
No, it was his brother.
Wow.
I watched a video of that.
Yeah, I saw the video too.
Yeah, that was Jason.
But I'm just like going, well. But yeah, Hollywood, and if you think about it, the Democratic Party relied more on the millionaire and billionaire Hollywood elite when it's the grassroots, the people here, you and me, Kelly, that are suffering.
Let me put it to you this way. This is the rest of America.
Right.
10 fingers, right?
That's
10 fingers. This is the Hollywood elite and the billionaires out there.
Because they don't even buy their own groceries. I bet they don't even know how much groceries cost.
If they're so concerned about us, then how about dropping the prices on movie tickets so we can go watch you? Not that I would anyway, but you know what I'm saying? How about drop the prices on these Taylor Swift tickets? They start at what, $100?
I have no clue.
$200, $300, $400.
Yeah, that's to get the better seats. But I mean, what about us that can't afford that? But you want to stand up there and talk about, just get me all worked up.
I went to a, let's see, who was it? A Buffett concert up in Raleigh. I like Jimmy Buffett. Went out there, got some nice seats on the ground. Carried my little chairs that I could sit in. They were kind of like boat chairs. There's those anti-gravity type things or whatever you call them. You sit down, you fold them in any position you want. So we sat there and we watched it. We were a distance from it, but I didn't go there to get up for close and personal. I can see you on TV for that. I just went there for the ambiance. And I think it was like $20 a ticket a few years back when he was still really hot.
Right.
Well, you don't pay those prices now. Just saying.
Oh, I won't pay any prices now.
Go to the movies anymore.
Well, this is a live concert.
I don't go to concerts anymore.
I do if it's somebody I really like, but I gotta really want to hear them.
Not even worth it to me.
The rain forecast for all of my fellow boating enthusiasts out there is brought to you by Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville. 2 young kids. We're going to be talking about this here in just a few minutes too. 2 young kids. Kelly may not have heard about it.
I know about
Students at a local school were treated this week for what appears to be a drug overdose.
Yeah.
A middle school.
Yep.
What I knew was a junior high school.
Yep.
A preliminary investigation shows that both students are believed to have vaping instrument, a cartridge. Has been seized and a criminal investigation is ongoing. That part's good.
Yeah.
If you even suspect that your kids may be experimenting, I hate that word, but that's what people keep saying, experimenting with vaping, you should know that it can be serious. It's a proven, in other areas, it's been proven to be deadly. Not all vape products are harmless. Let me do that one more time. Not all vape products are harmless. And even if you look at those products, it's doubtful that you, as a layman, I doubt seriously that you could tell the difference. It might be time to get some education. Community Prevention Services, located right here in Jacksonville, can help parents identify the harmful products. They can teach you what to look for. Law enforcement officers have conducted inspections of dozens of shops that promote and sell vaping products throughout Onslow County. Many of those shop owners and employees were charged with various offenses. If you suspect your child is already using the products and you haven't been able to get through to them, you really should utilize the services of the counselors to help you. This might be the time to call to set up an appointment. I wouldn't wait any longer. It's definitely better than getting a call from the school, the police, or the hospital about your child. 910-353-0972. They also accept most insurance plans out there. That's a good thing. And you should know, please rest assured that whatever you talk to them about stays between you and them. It's not shared with anyone else. It's all confidential. The number again is 910-353-0972. Offshore today, oh, by the way, in about 5 minutes, we're going to be talking with a counselor that works with the police department coming in here this morning. We're going to be having a long chat with her about this incident and some things that we need to look for. She's not a cop. She's not a badge-toting, gun-toting lady. I don't know if she carries a gun or not, but she doesn't carry a badge. But she's going to be chatting with us about that. And so you may want to stay tuned. Parents, all of you may want to stay tuned. Get your water thrills in early today. Tonight through Saturday night, a small craft advisory will be in effect, meaning that if you have a small boat, you should probably stay off the ocean. Northwesterly winds around 5 knots this morning, seas 2 to 3 feet, 3-foot waves from the southeast, 8 seconds apart. Like I said, today is a good day. Sounds and rivers are flat. Patchy fog this morning in some areas. Overnight, that's when things are going to change. Winds will pick up, making the ocean pretty choppy. Tomorrow, northeasterly winds 20 to 25 knots, gusts to 30. Seas 4 to 6 feet, 2 to 4 near shore. Sounds and rivers are going to be rough. Easterly winds Sunday around 10 knots, becoming southeasterly in the afternoon. Seas 3 to 5 feet, 2 to 3 near shore. Sounds and rivers a light chop.
Today, mostly cloudy, a high of 79. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 53. Then tomorrow, it will be sunny. However, the high will be 68. We will have northeast winds 9 to 13 miles an hour with 20-mile-an-hour gusts. Tomorrow night, you probably might want to think about turning your heat on. Partly cloudy, low of 46. And on Sunday, partly sunny, a high of 74.
Yeah.
Beautiful day for a parade Saturday.
Saturday, tomorrow. And, you guys get your stuff together for tomorrow morning and haul buggy down to the Jacksonville parade route. If you don't know where it is, just go find Western Boulevard and look for a sign that says, we're going to close this street in a little while, so find a place to park.
Correct.
Because between Country Club Road, it actually is going to be from in front of the college. They're going to shut that sucker down all the
From
way out
college to Bryn Mawr.
out to the Bryn Mawr shopping area. So you go find yourself early, get there early, and get yourself a seat. The parade, the Veterans Day Parade, Veterans Day is next week. The Veterans Parade starts promptly at 10 o'clock.
Right.
Units we're going to be lining up by 8 o'clock in the morning. So we are going to be there. Look for us. We're going to be driving a truck or riding in a truck. Somebody's going to be driving it, right?
Robbie.
Oh, she is? Really?
Yes.
For sure? Oh, God.
Well, that's what I
God.
thought so.
Well, it's good. She's got her license back now.
Look, at 1 mile an hour, I trust her.
And anyway, I do too, obviously. But the three of us, we're going to be on board. We're going to also have some protection on board.
Yes.
We're having our own
We have our
trained-
own personal bodyguard. Secret Service.
Secret Service is
That's
going to be
right.
helping us.
That's right.
Yep, got that. We got that handled. So
Yes.
none of y'all can. Theo, watch out. Throw any tomatoes that better be ripe, not rotten.
As
Right
long as
ones
they
I'm gonna
don't
keep
hit
them.
the truck, we're fine. Because I'll beat you
Well,
up if they hit the truck.
You mean it's okay if they hit me?
Well, as long because
I'm
if I'm
ca-
going to wash and wax my
I'm going
truck,
to carry a baseball
there
bat.
not be any tomatoes thrown at it.
So anyway, all of that's tomorrow, and
Yes.
along the parade route there, it'll be fun. And I've got some music we'll be playing as we go along that some of you guys out there who are veterans are probably going to be standing up and saluting as we go by, or at least at attention as we go by. It's time to rah-rah, boom dia.
Great day to practice your squats up and down, up and down.
There you go. Have you ever heard a judge tell a jury that its members, the members of the jury, were dumb because of a verdict they returned?
No.
I'm sure that somewhere at some point in time or another it has occurred, but I don't remember any reading about them. Even then, it's extremely rare, and the judge might even be right with his comments, but it would still be wrong for him or her to do that. Well, one little twit on something called The View. Oh, you knew I was going there, right? She said yesterday, I vehemently disagree with the decision that Americans made. But then she said, I'm thankful we have a democracy. Not sure how it would go over if a judge publicly stated that I disagree with the verdict that jury just rendered, but it would not likely be well received. I can tell you that. If you were a juror, if you were serving on a jury, had been there for hours or days, sometimes weeks, and a judge would stand up after you've been there, spending your time for a grand total of, I don't know what it is today, $12 a day or something. Not enough to pay the parking fees. But if you had sat on that jury, you did due diligence, you looked at all of the evidence, you asked questions, you went through this for hours, just even hours, and a judge, and all of your other cohorts, you reached the same verdict, same conclusion. But this one man, because he's wearing a black robe, stood up and said, you didn't do your job right. I disagree with your decision. How would you feel about that?
I'd be like going.
I'd have a hard time staying out of jail because
I'd be like,
I'd have something to say. I could not help it. Contempt of court, here I come. So just who is this Joy person? Not our Joy that calls in here. She's got no relationship. She's probably changing her name.
She's a nutcase. I just can't even
have a whole lot of
stand her.
things I want to say about her.
Her and Whoopi. Every time I even
The whole
see
crew.
them,
It's
yeah,
all
I
of
just
them.
like, oh,
But their only claim to fame is that they're anti-Trump. That's their only claim to fame. What are they going to do now?
well, it's funny how many
Die on the vine?
years ago they had him on their show.
Yeah. I'll admit that I have opinions that likely don't agree with some of y'all about things, but I certainly will not belittle you for voting for conscience.
That's right.
If you voted for Kamala, I'm not going to belittle you for it. I'm not going to tell you you voted wrong. You voted the way you wanted to vote. That is the way you are
Exactly.
entitled to vote.
Exactly.
What I consider to be the most important issue facing Americans today, usins, and who I think can come closer to working to correct that problem may not be the same issue or the same person that you see as important. It's okay. Teams. Just because I like the Yankees and you like that one of those other teams,
Red Sox.
who are you
Yankees.
to criticize me for that? And who am I to criticize you for liking the Red Sox?
That's right.
Correct.
What makes this person think that her opinion, her likes, her dislikes are more important than mine?
Well, what is interesting is, Rayford, is a lot of these people are the same ones spouting out that, equality, this unity, whatever. But then when someone gives an opinion contrary to theirs, they lose their minds.
Yeah.
So that's not being equal. Just saying.
People are, it's my way or no way. If you don't agree with who I like as a team, then you're stupid. If you don't agree with the way I think, then, you don't have a brain. I see that a lot.
I hear it a lot,
Right.
in a couple of months, December, 2 months and a
Right.
few days, we're going to have a new president.
That's scary.
Okay. That's a done deal. Unless he really changes his personality, I will still not invite him
It
to
will be
sit down at my Christmas dinner. Okay. My Christmas dinner is special. I can see me having him over for an oyster roast or a pig picket if I wanted to. But a sit down dinner with prime rib is special to me and for those who are really close to me.
Correct.
Right?
You can serve him deer.
I can't. I don't. Well, there may be some left over in
Oh.
here. I don't
Freeze
drink
him
beer.
some. Freeze him some.
I'm the only person that I know of, male, that hasn't drunk any beer.
No, not beer, deer.
Oh, deer. I can serve him deer.
Yeah, you can serve him
I don't know.
deer.
That's hard to get.
Okay, that's true. Wow.
So,
wow. On the side of the road over here on 17.
When he's riding the beast down here
Uh-huh.
and he happens to run into one,
Mm-hmm.
just throw it in the trunk. I'll find somebody to dress it out. Just get it here while it's fresh.
Uh-huh.
At this point in time, I'm going to put my guarded trust in him, though, and I'll continue to watch him carefully. I'm not a fool. He has access to more information and intelligence reports than I do. So while I might not exactly understand every move he makes, we're not supposed to, especially when it comes to foreign security matters. I don't want to know, to be honest with you. I'm smart enough to know that a lot of the nation's chess moves, think about this, a lot of the things that we do are nothing more than chess moves. There are a lot more about what kind of thought process went into making those decisions than I will ever know about. And that's probably a good thing. We have a special guest. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning. How are you?
Fine. Have we scared you off yet?
Not at all, sir.
Oh, well, give us a couple more minutes. We'll try. We talked a little bit about this in just a minute or two ago. Oh, introductions.
Yes, this is Shannon Aiken
Yes,
with
ma'am.
the
She did it
Jacksonville
right. Yeah.
Public Safety Office.
There you go. She's wearing the uniform. You're not a police officer.
Nope.
Correct.
She
No,
can't
I'm
be
not.
17. Oh my gosh.
When she gets to be 21, she could go to
She
BLET.
can't be
right?
17. She's-
Right? I always tell them to let me do undercover work, and they never let me do the fun stuff.
You could do that. You could do that.
You want to work
could
undercover?
I mean, it sounds interesting, sir, at least in the movies and whatnot.
Now, are
I
you?
did that.
What is your role at the Jacksonville Public Safety Office?
Absolutely. So my official title is substance abuse counselor, but I'm also an embedded clinician. So I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a licensed clinical addiction specialist. So I do everything from providing in-house clinical services to our first responders to helping to run our pre-arrest diversion programs, working with youth, going in the schools and doing vaping prevention work, going out in the community and doing outreach like our Naloxone Box program where we go out and identify organizations that may be in need of Narcan and Naloxone Box training as well.
Wow.
We read, we talk about this on a daily basis, and in here we talk about it constantly because we see it. We get news releases, and having come from the law enforcement community, I had a patch very much like that say one time for 6 years, 6.5 years.
Wow.
Way back before you're probably before your parents were born. Let's
Really?
just put it that way. But the reason we asked today, and I called Sarah yesterday as soon as I saw the story the day before, but the problem was there was something about an election the day before things were happening, and so we got kind of busy. Northwoods Park School Resource Officer
Yes.
earlier this week said that there was a kid over there exhibiting some kind of symptoms about a possible drug overdose.
Mm-hmm.
Child was taken to the hospital, found out there was another child over there
Mm.
at the hospital already.
Yes.
Possible vaping overdose. I thought vaping was just some steam. I did not know you could OD on steam coming out of a tube, just some vapor. Heats up. Water, just pure water. Coming steam is okay, right?
Well, that's my favorite thing to teach about when I go into the schools, is I always ask how many individuals think that there's water in a vape, and I get so many hands up. There is no water in a vape, and the scary thing about it is, in fact, we don't know what's in them, and they're not regulated, and especially when we have so many stores that sell them here locally, and
70 plus.
Exactly, sir. And the growing popularity even nationwide. So with them being so unregulated, unless we send them to a lab, we don't definitively know what is inside them. It could be anything from just a nicotine vape. Also, some of the ones that claim 99% nicotine free. Okay, how can we prove that? How can we trust that? But have a plethora of THC products, and now we're seeing THCP, which is my homework for this week, to find out what is that and what are the symptoms of that for individuals that are using these products. In addition, we're seeing just such a diversified just smorgasbord of all of these different products that are marketed, and they're marketed toward children.
I drive by some of these stores. Well, I drive by too many of them on a regular basis, just going from here to yonder. I can't go to my grocery store without passing at least one. I can't go across town without passing more fingers than I've got. Seriously. I can pick them out. I don't have to read vape on the signs out front.
Right.
They're lit up like a Christmas tree.
Right.
To get my attention.
And I know you're the one who's supposed to be asking the questions here, sir, but I'd be curious to know, what do you notice about these stores?
All the lights, all the glitter and everything else, the stuff that's marketed for kids.
Yes.
They don't need to market things like that for me. I don't need it. Kids respond to that kind of stuff, don't they?
They do. And then when you add in the peer pressure and then social media marketing and all of these different apps and, things that these adolescents have access to, it can be overwhelming. We're definitely dealing with a different age of adolescence here with so much exposure and access.
How young are some of the kids that you've had to deal with?
5th grade.
Wow.
Unless they failed a lot, they're still about 10 or 11 years old. Is that what you're saying?
Correct, sir. Yes.
I just want to take a moment and have Kelly talk about the irony of being at Northwoods Middle School Friday for a poster contest about don't do drugs, and this happens.
I know. I mean, it's not surprising. And by the way, the poster was amazing. And
Yes, it was.
The judges, we still haven't definitively got our winners list, but that's a whole separate issue. I agree, Lee. I mean, the Red Ribbon Week was last week.
Right.
And
we were there Friday.
We were there for Friday. Yes. But what's interesting is it happens a lot of time with the kids. They participate in these kind of things, but a lot of them, especially with vapes, look at vapes as being something so harmless.
Yeah.
A lot of these kids, when they think
yes.
drugs, they're thinking like heroin,
Yes.
the hard stuff, not knowing that, 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, it might have been 3 now. We had a 16-year-old overdose with pot that was laced with fentanyl here in Onslow County. It's there, and these kids they look at vapes as being, because they're quote legal, not to a minor, but they are legal. They don't think, because you got to remember too, kids have that invincibility complex.
Right.
They don't think about death and dying the way we do.
I just found it was so ironic.
Yeah,
when it came
very
out
ironic.
to his middle school.
Yeah, especially
And I'm like,
considering
we were
what a
just
good
there.
job they did. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yes. Crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead, Shannon.
Oh, well, yeah. And that was one of the schools that I worked with last year. And I went through the whole Catch My Breath vaping prevention curriculum. So I know I said, I may have taught you unless you were absent those days. But yes, it's about finding the interventions. How do we reach these children? And also, how do we reach the parents?
That was going to be my next question. Parents, But Daddy, it's okay. You know, Uncle Joe does this stuff, and it's just steam. It's just water, you know, and it just comes out. It just makes me clears my sinuses. I don't know what kind of excuses and lies that they're using, but they've come up with something, I'm sure, to convince the unknowing parent that it's okay.
Well, a lot of parents are unaware, though. A lot of the kids I ran into that are vaping, parents have no idea.
That they're even vaping.
Correct.
Where do they hide their stuff?
A lot of places. Sometimes they get it.
It's
you know,
big things, you know.
Let's say Kelly, Shannon, and Lee are in the bathroom or the girls' bathroom at school. Kelly brings the vape in. Shannon and Lee just use it. They don't have a vape to get caught with. That's all on one. One kid often will bring one, and it kind of gets passed around.
Kelly's going down for it, not Shannon.
Yeah. So see, I just would have supplied it to them, but that's what's happening a lot of times. But these things are small. Like what do we have a pen? Some of the vape pens are like
that.
Yes, they're tiny. Some of them look like lipstick cards. I mean, they're just, and those are the ones that are geared to kids because they're easy to conceal.
Okay, what do we do next? How do we get our hands around this? How do we choke the life out of the vaping situation? Legal
Regulation. North Carolina
legislature and legislature making it all illegal.
They need to make it regulated like tobacco is. North Carolina legislatures need to step in, come off their break, come in and simply change the regulations, because once it's regulated, law enforcement will have a easier time going in and doing what they need to do. But right now, it's a free-for-all.
Yeah,
that's what needs to happen. That's our North Carolina House and Senate. This falls on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got a call. Let's see if it's about vaping. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey guys, it's Charlie.
Charlie, you talking about a subject we're on, or are you just going to ramble?
Well, that's not nice.
We have a guest in the studio right now, Charlie.
No, I'm watching this and I'm listening to you guys' show. I'm going to call in a couple times throughout the next hour. There's nothing you can do. You can't prevent anything. Teenagers, young adults, 20, 25, 26, however old they are, they're going to do what they're going to do. You cannot control them.
Okay, that's good. They're going to just surrender, give up, right?
But I disagree with that, because
Education.
in 2006, Onslow County was number 18 in the state for traffic fatalities involving alcohol. We enacted a campaign here. We worked on it. It took quite a few years, but now we're not one of those 18 counties. I mean, so you can make change.
You can't make change because children, young adults, however they were raised, they're going to do stuff. They're going to rebel. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to realize the mistakes they made, how you guys realized all the mistakes that you made, and you're going to look back at it and say, you know what, I'm going to make these changes. You can't. They're going to make these. They're going to make all these mistakes.
So we surrender, we give it up, and we let them die? Is that what you're saying?
No. You know, by the way, very, very respectful. You were very rude to me when I just called in. You basically said I'm going to ramble on. I'm going to give you a strong point. I'm just telling you, you can't control what people do.
Okay.
We all change. We all change throughout our lives.
All right.
We all done stupid things. You guys have done stupid things when you were in your 20s, your early teens. You're not going to prevent them. They're going to do dumb things.
But that's not true.
Well, I try my best not to make blanket statements like that, but go ahead.
But also, I will say, Charlie, let me say something else. You know, we in a program, for example, like Catch My Breath, okay, which is a vaping prevention program. You know, a lot of times you pre-test the kids and you see, you know, the percentage that have a certain idea or whatever it is. Then after they go through the curriculum, you post-test them, and then they you know, you can see that. So let's say you pre-test them and it was, I don't know, 60%. I'm just throwing a number out there. And after they go to the curriculum and they post-test, it's dropped down to, let's say, 40%. Okay, that is a difference. So you can make change.
Okay,
But you have to understand.
Yeah, we got to put
Can
a
I
dog
say
out.
something?
Yes, go ahead.
You have to understand something. Okay, let's let the nice dog kill everybody first.
No, he's good. The nice dog is walking out.
Okay, here's the deal. We're all different. I don't know how old you are. I'm not sure how old your guest is. There's nothing you can do. Times change. We live in a digital age. As somebody from 12 to like 8 to 15 or 20 years old, It's so much different from where you are right now. Their brains, they're developing so much faster. You can't control them. You can't tell them this and that. They're being influenced by stuff. You can't.
And you base
control
this on
them.
what, Charlie?
I base this on humanity, where we are right now.
Okay, so you don't base it on any educational background in this field?
Well, let me ask you a question. Can I ask how old you are?
I'm 76.
Okay, so you're 76. Go back to somebody right now that's 15 or 13 or 12 years old.
Mhm.
They're on social media.
Yes.
Their brains are 1,000 times more advanced than your brain was.
I don't know where you get that. I don't know where you get that number.
Because they have so much information at their disposal. They're being influenced by so much more than you were influenced by.
Okay.
You were influenced by legacy media. When you were growing up, they had ABC, CBS, NBC News. That's where you got your news from. Today's generation, they get the news from thousands of different sources. Their brains are just saturated, they're drowned in so much information.
Sorry to disillusion you, but when I was 10 years old, I was talking to people all over the world on amateur radio, people that I learned to speak some of their languages, a part of it anyway. So I was influenced by a whole lot of people, a whole lot more than in my school, believe it or not. And there were a bunch of me in this country, and there still are, who we don't depend on. We don't depend on social media. We don't depend on the mainstream media. Yeah.
Do you agree that there's so much more information given to children?
No, I do not. I agree that so much more misinformation that is provided to people
But they
today.
don't get it. But they don't get it. Their brains don't register.
That's what
you
people like
understand.
Kelly, and that's what people like our young guest in here, that's what they're in here for, is to make sure they do get it. That's what it's all
Right,
about.
but they're
You
not-
can't give
they're
up.
not going to get it.
Yeah, I'm not going to give up.
How old is the guest that you have on your show right now? How old is this
I
person?
don't know. She works for the Jacksonville Police Department.
Hi, good morning,
How old is
Charlie.
that?
I was born in 1994. I'm 30 years old,
I
sir.
mean, she's, sir, oh, heavens, Betsy, I know her in the Army. She's 30 years old. She comes from a whole, her generation has nothing in common with your generation. Nothing. Nothing.
Which makes us an even more effective collaborative team to tackle this issue.
Right, but you have to explain to him and her that they don't grasp what's going on in today's society. There's nothing wrong. I'm a fan of this show. I'm really offended right now that you guys are attacking me.
Well,
I think you're giving
hold
too
up,
much
buddy.
credit, sir.
First of all,
That's not the issue.
Your comment is offensive. And I'm going to go ahead and say
I
that
like
is
that.
offensive. I am a
like
counselor.
you.
I spend 60 hours and countless weeks a year with training because I am a licensed substance abuse counselor as well as a licensed mental health counselor. Don't tell me that I'm out of touch because I absolutely am not. And it's offensive that you would say that.
But I'm not trying to be.
Yes, you
I'm not
are.
trying to be-
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
This
I'm
is not an
trying to be
issue of
rude.
age.
It is a different. It's a different of understanding where we are in today's times compared to.
Okay.
Listen, when you
All
guys,
right. You've
go
made your
ahead,
point. You've made your point, Charlie. You're just you just don't think that we're at it, and all the kids are going to die. Doesn't matter what we do.
No, I don't think that at all.
So we're supposed to
You
just
have to
give up and
understand-
let things go as they will. Let these two junior
No,
high school
I
kids this
understand.
last week who overdosed from vaping. We're supposed to just ignore it, just toss them out, call the morgue.
No, but the 30-year-old host on your show, she gets it 10 times more than you guys get. You have to listen to
How do
her.
you know that? Tell me how you know that. How do you know that I don't get what she gets? Tell me.
Because she gets it. She gets it. She gets
I
it.
disagree. Kelly is somebody I look up to and is a mentor in the field. We all work together very well and collaboratively and use our different experiences and generational experiences for that matter.
Key word you just said, the experience. There is something that you
Yes,
cannot get in your
exactly.
counseling classes. You cannot get in your
Absolutely.
counseling classes. You learn it through experience, and I probably got a lot of it.
Charlie, this is Lee.
Yeah,
Would you
yeah,
mind?
go ahead.
Would you mind if we go ahead and let Shannon finish
Yeah,
her
we're going to do that.
interview and you can call back afterwards, okay?
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you, Charlie. Okay.
I think Kelly's getting ready to blow a rod, so I was just like, okay.
Wow.
Anyway,
I said
Okay.
something about a beer earlier. Maybe I better go look for a while. I don't think I have any Guinness in the house, though. No, it's okay.
He's absolutely offensive.
well, Shannon, do you find that you come across a lot of attitudes like that in your quest to educate young people on the dangers of vaping?
There is a lot of resistance, but we have to tackle this on a micro, meso, and macro level. We have to do the legislative work. We have to do the community level work. We have to do the individual one-on-one with the kids. And it doesn't matter what your age, your background, your experiences, the way you connect with people. I think that's what makes you an effective intervention in that. We are, especially Kelly and the field we chose to go into, I think it all boils down to authentic human connection. It doesn't matter your age, your experiences, all of that kind of culminates to you being able to intervene and look at a young person holistically and try to help them. We're up against so much, but we can do it.
We're not supposed to give up?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, not only
we are in
that,
this together.
Shannon and I worked together, in the past. You don't go in and start preaching to the kids because that's ineffective. They will shut you down within 30 seconds of you talking.
Mm-hmm.
You get to their level.
Yes.
Okay. You work with them. It's not an overnight thing. You don't go and do one class and all of a sudden nobody's vaping. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, they were vaping while you were at the class the other day, right?
I mean, it's
Right.
continual stuff. I've done this for 25 years, and for that man to say that I am out of touch is wrong.
We're not.
But I know how to talk to the kids,
Yeah,
and we all do.
Yeah, we're not worried about him. I know you
he's-
guys. I know both of you. And I know Kelly. I've known her for quite a while now.
I was counting down over here.
And also, just in case Charlie isn't aware of it, her husband is a retired federal agent who worked narcotics
For most of his career.
For most of his career.
Right.
So we do have a lot of something other than today's training, today's social media. I don't do social media. I mean, I do, but I don't. I'm not one of the trolls. I don't go after entertainment. I'm not out there looking for information because there's very little of it in social media. There is a lot of misinformation. Stuff I look at and I debunk it, and it takes me about 3 seconds generally to debunk most of it. And I don't care who it comes from, unless they got some credentials. They ain't worth a crap. Bottom line.
From 2000 and I'm a 2 or 3, I can't remember now, to 2015, Community Prevention Services taught life skill classes at Jacksonville High School 2 days a week to every incoming freshman.
Really?
It was mainly, we used the Project T&D towards no drug use curriculum. That's what we used. Okay. So every freshman at Jacksonville High School went, or when someone transferred from another school and they had not had the PE credit yet, because it's required in North Carolina, they all went through that class.
Mhm.
Okay. So I learned even early on how to, talk to the kids. And yes, you did initially have resistance or you had misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we found out a lot of times what kids believed, perception versus what was actually accurate about a lot of things, alcohol, tobacco. I mean, back then smoking was the thing. There was no vaping when we first started, but all kinds of drugs. That's how we learned. But I can't tell you how many times and we pre and post tested. So we saw the attitude from the kids in the pre-test. And by the time the end of the semester was over, we post tested them. It's curriculum. It wasn't our test. It came with the curriculum. You could see the change. I mean, probably 90% of the kids, 95%, there was change. There's always some that refuse, and some we are convinced just fake the test just because they want to be difficult. But there was change. And I can't tell you how, since that time, a number of kids have reached out to me that have graduated. Some are in their 30s now, that said, I still remember your class and the things we talked about with drugs and alcohol. I remembered it when I had one kid in particular that ended up going to Carolina, and she stated, when I got to school and got exposed to all these drugs and all these things, I remembered what I had been taught in my class, and I used that, and it helped me to resist the peer pressure. So I knew, what, I did help one kid.
Nice, safe one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to that thing you mentioned, smoking, cigarettes, way before you guys were out there. Well, Lee was close, but you had a smoking area at the high school.
I had a smoking area at my high
It
school.
was
We had a
Jacksonville
smoking area.
when I
But
went there.
here are the facts. Pretty roughly, close to 50% of Americans smoked. In 1968, I think it was, when the stats that I had at the time, roughly 50% of Americans smoke. How many Americans smoke today?
I have no clue.
Less than
Not
20,
like-
I don't
less
know. I
than
would-
25%,
Not
and it's
like it
falling.
was.
The price
Yeah.
of cigarettes are going up. The addictive
Yes.
nature of cigarettes have increased dramatically. Why? Not
To
because
keep the people
they keep
buying
them coming back. That's
That's
the
right.
reason why. Do we give up on kids because they want to smoke? No, we make it illegal and we enforce it just as hard as we can. And we have anti-smoking classes as part of
Right.
your stuff, as
Mm-hmm.
part of your venue. We do that. We discourage it.
Well, smoking's been a bit more difficult. Like you can't smoke in restaurants now. You
Yep.
can't smoke
Right.
in most buildings. I mean, maybe there's a building somewhere. I don't know. Can't smoke on the air. I remember when you could smoke on an airplane.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that, my
There
God,
were
what we were
ashtrays on there
exposed to.
till
Yes.
not
In
too
a
many years ago.
restaurant, right.
Now, here's
But-
the other thing that you mentioned until it was illegal,
Everything, yes.
became illegal. But
And look what
you won't
replaced it.
remember this.
Vapes.
You probably won't remember this. Winston tastes good.
Yeah.
Like a cigarette should,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Winston tastes good
The
like a cigarette
Marlboro
should.
Man.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard today what the Winston cigarette slogan is? I have a clue.
One, they're not allowed to advertise on TV.
It's on every billboard
Yeah.
and
They can
every
do a
print
billboard.
ad. And
What is it?
I don't know what it is because I don't read them.
I have to
Well, I
look
don't
it
have it
up.
The
seen
last
one in a
time you
long
heard
time.
that on TV or radio was 1972.
Yeah, because-
that's when they started the major campaign, and
Yeah.
part of it had to do with advertising, promotions like lights in vape stores,
Mm-hmm.
blinding everybody who drives by. I so want to bring out a pellet rifle in the middle
Well,
of the night.
So let's get back to Shannon.
That's what I'm
I want to
talking
hear
about.
more about Shannon. So you spend most of your time with your employment with the Jacksonville Safety Office
Mm-hmm.
as a substance abuse counselor. What do you do that is more than just the presentations for the schools for vaping? What more do you do?
Sure. So I organize the law enforcement assisted diversion program for adults. So if we have an individual who is amenable to the program, would like to get help instead of getting the charge per the criteria, if they meet it, an officer can refer them to me, and then I'll sit down, do a comprehensive clinical assessment with them. We'll come up with a treatment plan and figure out how to help them, and not only look at the substance use issue, because I just got back from a conference, the Addictions Professionals of North Carolina conference, and the best thing I heard was that we want to talk about this substance, and trauma is the gateway drug.
Yes.
So what are the underpinnings of the substance use, and how do we look at that individual as a whole person and sets of their life, and how to intervene not only with just but do you have food on your table? Do you have family, and all these things that affect our lives at the very root and deepest level? And so we get them in the treatment program. I get them linked with a peer support specialist who's also under our grant. And then hopefully, they become successful in that and can really have a life change. It's a very rewarding program that we work in. I also work youth diversion, so same concept, but issues we see with youth, particularly in the schools. We'll get them into more of like a life skills class or something like that instead of a juvenile petition.
Alternatives.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. And also, in terms with the young folks, addressing the bigger picture family matters as well.
Charlie mentioned this social media
Mhm.
or socialist media, as I call it.
Social.
The how involved are the kids with that, and how does it play in controlling their lives and their thought processes today?
I would say extremely. If they have the exposure, absolutely, and especially unregulated exposure.
Like TikTok.
Exactly. TikTok, we have YouTube, especially if there are no protections on some of these apps. It is a free-for-all. We have, and we talked about advertising just now. It's a free-for-all in advertising where, and they sneak it in, and they use these influencers, these people that these children look up to. And when they see that vape in their hand, oh, I want to be like them. Oh, if this person who I look up to is vaping, then it must be okay. And then they would never put my interest, on the back burner. So, and also priming the brain for addiction with that instant gratification of, oh, I got a like on my photo. this notification popped up, and I do it too. I don't know if y'all do it, but when your phone buzzes and you get that instant, oh, what must be on my phone? Somebody must want to talk to me, and it goes back to I'll touch back on it every time, the need for that authentic connection.
What can we do? Parents first, I assume. Parents need to be aware of what the problems are.
Absolutely.
But will they take action? I mean, we live in a society today where quite often we've got a single parent at home, period, bottom line, and is not at home all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got some latchkey kids. What do we do? How do we control that?
That's one of the biggest challenges is, and also parental attitudes in general, because, things are different than they were when the parent was a teen. I mean, the THC level just in general is at a higher rate than it was even 10, 12 years ago. The THCP is 33%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot.
That becomes not just habit forming. That becomes
well, you can
addictive.
you can have, but not only that, people, I have, and I know Shannon's heard this. We've actually talked about this before. A lot of people view marijuana as the thing you cannot overdose on or have a reaction to. It's like if you were going to list a category of drugs, that would be considered like a safe drug. Well, that might have been the case 10, 15 years ago, but first of all, with the introduction of fentanyl, nothing is off the table. But also, too, you can have a THC psychosis. I've seen one firsthand. Where someone smokes some type of THC product and they have a freak out psychosis moment. Those can become deadly. You can, a secondhand injury, serious injury or death can occur, but a person can literally have a major psychosis incident from that. People are allergic to THC, believe it or not. You can have an allergic reaction. There's a lot. This stuff kids don't even think about, or even adults don't think about.
THC, the active ingredient they used to call it in marijuana. It's okay. It's there. You got some THC, but you got to smoke a lot of pot to get in a significant amount of it. So if you're smoking pot once or twice a week, having a joint, you're okay. Then, not now. Not anymore, right? Stuff is potent. The stuff that they're coming out with. But how does that transform? You're not even getting the pot to dilute the stuff that's in some of the products at the vape stores, are you?
You don't know what's in the products at the vape stores.
Right.
That's
it's
the
illegal, but that's beside the point. It's available. How is it even available?
Money. It's profit.
I got that part, but how is it even available? Why can't we head that off in the past?
Because it's not regulated.
The manufacturing should be regulated. If it doesn't have that little stamp of approval like they have on a liquor bottle or whatever else it is.
But you can order this stuff online too.
If it doesn't have that stamp of approval on it, it shouldn't be legal.
I hear you.
Stop it, head it off at the pass.
I hear you. I agree. Look, I have a 15-year-old client that is coming to me strictly for substance use, and his is vaping marijuana. That's his thing. He's involved with juvenile justice right now. Okay. It was explained to me that by him that, his isn't so much rolling up a joint smoking when we think it's all vape. He's vaping the THC.
Right.
And apparently he's, doing other things with it, but that's his drug of choice.
What else would he do with it?
He's selling it.
Oh, okay.
He's doing,
Lord have mercy.
Yeah. But he was, so for him, a lot of times we think pot or whatever, and he has smoked a joint. He says that's a little more work, he says, than he wants to do, because you can just get a vape pen out and puff, and you can conceal it.
So it's not the pot itself is smoking a pot. It's not that
it's a convenience,
pleasurable thing that everybody claims that it is. It's not that. Huh?
Well, it's that, but I mean, rolling a joint, buying it, whatever, according to him, is just like too much work. Well, he can go he can buy a $50 vape cartridge and just go, and he said you can conceal it.
How much?
Well, the one he was saying was $50, but I don't. They vary. I know that from an older client, but yeah.
So Shannon, besides the presentations that you're conducting at the schools, what else is the Jacksonville Public Safety Office doing to try to educate the people?
So I am so grateful that the department will send me to trainings. I've recently gotten naloxone train the trainer certified, so I can train others to train on Narcan administration. We have spent so many dollars on getting naloxone boxes and establishing protocols and procedures around that. And into our areas of interest, we're seeing high rates of overdose. When it comes to presentations, I've also just been certified in adverse childhood experiences training as it relates to substance use disorder. So that's a service that I'm going to be actually providing to Onslow County schools here in the coming weeks. So it's just going out. I've linked with Camp Lejeune drug reduction to offer a substance use parent forum. How do we have these difficult conversations? And really, I'm grateful to have a lot of autonomy in my position where if any organization or agency wants to have a training or have that education implemented, that's something we can offer, and we can offer it for free.
Do you ever work alongside with the sheriff's office doing projects?
I do. I'm so glad you asked. Recently, we just merged our law enforcement assisted diversion program with the sheriff's office. So now I have a liaison at the sheriff's office where we can make this a countywide program instead of just the city of Jacksonville.
Good.
And do you actually go into the schools and train the teachers how to use the Narcan?
So I currently do not. I'm offering training on just substance use disorder and how to identify signs to school social workers, school counselors, and staff. And like I said, they've just got to ask for it and allow us to come in and provide that education. So we're always happy to collaborate and yeah, not only, be there for the students, but also for the staff, because everyone is busy. Everyone's got their stuff going on. And so we just want to, reduce working in silos.
Mm-hmm. Have you, speaking of teaching other people, do you teach police officers the use of Narcan, how to do it? Or did they get training?
They get training, yes.
And
And
I assume the school resource officers do as well.
absolutely.
Okay.
And I also teach in our CIT, crisis intervention training that all law enforcement personnel have to go through. So that includes substance use disorder, mental health, how to de-escalate individuals who are experiencing a crisis.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay.
Very good.
Those first responders are important
They are.
in certain cases.
Absolutely.
Without getting into too much detail from the criminal side of it, dealing with the two kids over there at the school, the middle school. Is this widespread? Do you have they come up with something that this is just an anomaly for these two kids, or is there a widespread use? Or they're too young to be selling this stuff in school,
Rayford.
but apparently it's being done, right?
It's being done.
It's done a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the use of different apps that they can use to make these transactions. I will say children nowadays are very entrepreneurial.
They are.
Which is not a spirit that I encountered when I was growing up. I don't know if that's the influencer age that we're in, but I would say it's becoming just more prevalent nationwide. Not in terms of particularly the selling, but just the widespread usage. And then going back to what Kelly said, the passing around. Oh, okay, well, if we're going to pass it around, maybe I could make a profit off of this.
I thought that a few years ago, with the pandemic that we were in, that you didn't share anything with anybody else.
I hear you.
I
Right?
really thought that would have ended a whole lot of this kind of stuff, but it did not, did it?
No, well, not something like this. And some of these kids will pay. So in other words, let's say Kelly has her little vape pen, and Shannon and Kelly are walking down the hall of their class. Shannon says, "I'll give you $5 if you'll let me hit that vape pen."
Oh, yeah.
Shannon pays me $5, hit the vape pen. Vape pen goes back in my pocket, and we keep on going to our next class. That's happening a lot too. These kids are, they're making money.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not just a free thing. They're
I mean,
making
for
money.
lunch, so I may have had $1 in my pocket
Yeah.
to go to school to have
I had a
lunch. You
quarter.
understand?
Well, these kids have like Cash App and Venmo. Like
Yeah.
they've got bank
Yes,
accounts that they're
those-
linked to. There's not even any legit cash changing hands. They're like,
So
what's your
parents have
Cash
to
App
approve
name?
this, though. They cannot just set this up, right?
Some of them have like money for for example, allowance money, and parents set up bank accounts for their kids. This is where monitoring your kids' transactions.
Yes, absolutely.
Matter.
I
Yeah.
can't say that enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does it say on these apps? I mean, if I go over to the bank and I withdraw something, it's going to have that I've got some money out. I got cash out to do this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can they just willy-nilly withdraw cash without any
Yes.
trace, without knowing?
And you can put anything in, like, so if Shannon's going to pay me $5 for the one hit of my little vape pen, she can put on there for, lunch, or leave it blank, or whatever. And all the
yeah.
parents see is that $5 have come out of Shannon's bank to Kelly. They don't know what that was for.
Mhm.
And some kid could say, well, I borrowed lunch money from them 3 days ago, and you know what I mean, and now I'm paying them back, or I bought a hairbrush, or whatever. So the
Mhm.
parents, you're right, we will have no way of knowing what
Where's
Shannon gave me that $5 for.
Where's the hairbrush
Yeah.
that you sold?
Or but parents don't go to all that length. I lost it, or you know what I mean. I don't know, or I gave it to Lee. I mean,
Mhm.
kids come up with all kinds of stuff. If I were a parent in this day and age, I'd be concerned if I started seeing multiple transactions in a Venmo or Cash App account
Oh, I would
for a
too.
kid.
Mhm.
That's how one parent that I know caught their kid that was selling here in Onslow County. But this kid was making bank, $60 a vape selling. They're selling
Mhm.
10 vapes a day. I mean, I want to know, where's this kid getting the vapes from? But yeah.
So, Shannon, what do you feel like is the biggest obstacle that this nation, let's say the school systems are facing as far as trying to prevent this from happening in the schools? Kind of a double-sided question, but I think you know what I mean.
Sure. I think it's just not delineating responsibility, but it's like, okay, we're here. They have the greatest time with these students. They're with them all day. But how can we properly intervene when you need the parental buy-in? You need the community support. We need all of these wraparound services, and we need access to them. And also, just looking more broadly at the situation, I feel like this is all just so new. The social media, we're all finding this out as we go, experience it along with these children. So how do we know? We don't know what we don't know. So we're just trying to address the situation as it comes. And just, it's an overwhelming problem, because not only do you have the adolescent substance use, but you have all of the social media and trying to provide, what regulations we need around that. We're just now finding out what the symptomology is of all of these things and how deeply it's affecting our youth. So I feel like we're, as a society, in this assessment phase of, okay, just same with cigarettes. We didn't know how bad they were when they first came out. So figuring out, okay, how do I identify how this is affecting our children, and then how do we come up with effective interventions, and how do we get access to those interventions?
Do you find issues in the elementary school, at the elementary school level too?
I have heard of that, and we still have our DARE program out there, which I feel like is affected. But again, I've heard, back when DARE was, just don't do drugs, it's definitely evolved to looking at other aspects of, just besides just say no. Okay, peer pressure, addressing that, learning refusal strategies, learning how to have, learning what consequences are of your actions. So just trying to modify and keep up with all of these things. But it's so challenging because we have this entire industry that's got seemingly unlimited resources to keep up with the marketing and keep cranking out new products and finding those innovative ways to reach children. And we need to do the same thing on the prevention front.
Well, we came out with laws against advertising cigarettes on
Yep.
television.
Radio and TV.
Why can't we do that with vapes?
We can. We should.
Cannabis, it's got to be regulated.
It's-
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yep.
saying.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
It's
what
not-
we need to do.
And I will say one thing I know that Shannon would probably agree with me on is that has made it a little bit difficult for people like Shannon to go into schools is the Parents' Bill of Rights. Because back in the day,
Right.
you could hold a vape, a catch my breath class and for all the kids, but now the parents have to get permission. And you'd be surprised at how many parents do not want their kids to attend a catch my breath class.
Why?
I agree.
What do they? I mean, what do they say when they
They're
say
just
no?
saying that my kid doesn't do anything, and
They just don't trust.
yeah, I guess. I mean,
system?
yeah, some won't.
Well, there are people
Too many
that don't trust any
regulations.
system.
Yeah,
We get worried. Some of us get worried about anything that
Mhm.
comes from the government. We know how
I
that is.
remember going to school and being taught sex education. My mother didn't have to sign anything.
yeah. Now you have.
I mean, now
yeah.
everything has gotten so woke.
Parents' Bill of Rights in North Carolina, you cannot. They can't. You can't go in. So the parents have to basically give you permission to hold that class with them.
Right.
Whereas before, you just didn't.
Well, I
It's
agree
very
with
sad.
you.
Yeah,
Until our laws change,
the law. It's
Shannon's going to be, and
Yeah.
Shannon,
Yeah.
I mean, you're fighting a fight every day.
Question for you now. A couple of them. Way back when, okay, and it worked then. I hope it worked then. Educators like you would bring in somebody, and it wasn't necessarily a drug educator or a counselor like that, but even a high school principal, with the permission of the parent or with the permission of the individual who has become an adult, who went through some really bad stuff as a kid, smoking a lot of dope,
Mm-hmm.
lost out on education, perhaps was in football or in the program, couldn't cut it anymore. They were stoners. They became stoners. And by the time they were 20, 22, 24, many of them had moved on, sometimes because of intervention of some sort or another. Most often in those days, it was law enforcement because that was the only option you had. Can't fix them, arrest them. But they brought them back. Do you do anything with people who have perhaps been there before, who have seen the light, and bring them back to use them as examples, or to have them relate to these people? I was there where you are, type thing.
I would say not particularly with youth.
Mhm.
We see the benefits of that in working with our peer support specialists and our individuals who have that lived experience who can connect with those individuals. I will say I work closely with a woman named Charlene Zorn out of New Hanover. She lost her son to vaping, and she has come up to Onslow County, and we've been so grateful to have her share the vulnerability of her story and really advocate for all agencies and all schools to be aware of the consequences of vaping and how to recognize. And in that story, there's tremendous value and yes. And I'll go back to what Kelly said. It's all about arranging that to be approved and finding those individuals who are approved to go in there and deliver that message. But I will tell you, we will try anything and everything we can.
Just the other thing, back in the days of when high school students drove school buses, for instance, and I know it was used in other places too, but I was one of those. We were given in our training, we were shown photographs of wrecks.
Scare tactics
tactics,
don't work anymore in
They don't
prevention.
work.
The state office of prevention discourages those because the kids. If you've seen some of the movies these kids watch,
I
scare
understand that.
tactics don't work anymore.
I
No,
understand that.
no, that's considered not an effective substance abuse prevention attack. Thing you do. You just don't do it anymore. No,
It
not
wasn't
like that.
wasn't that many years ago that they dropped a medical helicopter to a wreck scene that was staged at a school
Right.
in New Hanover County. And they had some of their fellow students had volunteered to be made up to look like they were dead or dying.
That's not effective.
The
anymore.
movies. Oh, it was effective on the people that
Yeah.
were there because kids were crying.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about they were crying.
Well,
What are you looking at?
There's a
Oh,
bee
it's a
and I'm
wasp.
allergic and I don't
Oh,
have
I
my
am
thing with
too.
me.
he's been in all morning.
He's going out.
Well, and I will say one thing that we would love to see are high school students that may be passionate about this subject.
That's-
Can we get, clubs going where
That would
older
be great.
students could come in and do some education, and maybe our students who need some volunteer work, they can offer that messaging. I think it would be more effective because I'm
Like a
hearing it from, I'm an educator. They're not going to see my point, but if they see it from their own, and
Well, you're
Like a
not
Big
that,
Brother, Big
You're
Sister
not
program.
that far from their age. I mean, if I go in there, I'm a dictator.
Uh-huh.
I mean, seriously, that's what it would look like, right?
Right.
I'm the man, or was the
Right.
man, and they don't have that kind of fear. They don't. I mean, they don't respect it as an educational experience. They expect it as a fear tactic, and that's what it would be.
Right.
sure,
Scare tactic
sure,
doesn't work, huh?
No, it won't work anymore.
no.
You,
Take all
Yeah.
the fun
Yeah,
out of
what
making
these
I'm
kids
telling
do
you,
on
get this
social
stuff
media
done.
now and the games they play.
the games, the
Grand Theft
violent
Auto,
games,
the
but the
violence.
movies they watch, like,
Killing.
they are so desensitized.
Yes.
And that's another thing. Shannon and I talked about this when we did that vaping thing briefly. Kids, the media has such influence and the stuff they watch, and it's all about. I mean, these advertisers are geniuses.
Mhm.
It's brand placement. So if I'm, using a XYZ vape in the movies in some popular movie, all of a
I know.
sudden every kid wants XYZ's vape.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, in the movie
Hollywood.
studios, I'm a little familiar with the movies because I did some mess down in Wilmington with them on the side, but I was backstage a lot for photographic work, and those guys, they actually will pay. I'm familiar with cameras, so they would pay Nikon or Canon or whoever.
Mhm.
Nikon or Canon would pay for them to use their product and display it prominently in a movie,
Yeah.
subliminally.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, if you ever see a camera in a movie that the label on the front of it that said Canon or Nikon has got black tape over it,
Yeah.
the Canon and Nikon did not pay.
I've seen that a lot, but yeah. Yeah.
That's the way
Yeah.
it works.
Yep.
Yeah,
Pay to
So-
play.
And that was,
affiliation.
I mean, it was
marketing.
cheap advertising for them because that reached tens of thousands of
Right.
people. But you know what? Why are we letting that happen in the movie? How many people do you even see smoking cigarettes in movies anymore?
You do see it, but
Yeah.
it's more
Very
vaping. Now it's
seldom.
vaping.
And when you
Yeah.
do see it, you're like, oh,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
disgusting.
so different
Yeah.
now.
But in the,
Yeah.
in,
So different.
in the not that many years ago, in my terminology, but in my reference, every actress, every actor, it was glamorous to sit there with that.
Right.
What did we call them? Rag, something, whatever it is, a smoke. It was a smoke.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That's-
Are you
we
talking
had-
about
we
one
had-
of those?
Is that some
No,
word?
I know
we
with
had
the long-
we had all sorts of names for cigarettes.
I've never heard that one.
Oh, do you mean taking a drag?
Yeah,
Is that
we would see them. No, it was just a whatever we called the
Well,
cigarettes. in
sometimes
those
you
days.
could tell if they were really inhaling or not
Right,
too, because you can
right.
tell the difference. But
Right.
now it's just the vape pen, and even advertising in movies that kids watch with like a T-shirt advertising it too. I mean, these advertisers are getting very clever in how, I don't know if clever is the right word, but bold in how they are advertising to kids, because all this stuff's flavored cigarettes are geared to kids.
And you
Flavored
know what,
alcohol
Kelly?
are geared to
Not to
kids.
interrupt you, excuse me, but those are making a comeback.
Yes.
I was in a store yesterday,
Mhm.
and there they were at the counter,
And they're not,
and I'm like, whoa.
okay. And tobacco products are not supposed to be located anywhere near where, like on a counter where like candy would be sold and stuff like that.
These were they look just like
Yeah.
the regular cigarettes, and
They
I'm just
can't.
like going, oh my gosh, they've
We're
made a
coming.
comeback.
And that's placement.
Yes.
And I want to brag on Shannon too a minute, because since she has come on board with JPD, she has really done so much, and she's very modest about this, but she has done a lot in the community with what she has done for working with substance abuse and misuse prevention and treatment issues. She has spearheaded so many things and has really put even JPD on the map for how things were done. Because prior to her, wasn't nothing. I'm not saying nothing. Things weren't at the level they are now, and it's all because of her. She's done a great
Just
job.
listening to her this morning.
Thank you,
is
Kelly.
So intelligent.
I'm going to have
Can't
to
thank you
commend
enough,
you
Kelly.
from, an old cop type thing, and the attention of good old curmudgeon in law enforcement, people who've been there for a while. I mean, they don't have to be really old, but to gain their respect, like I have heard that you have
Yeah, she has done a
from
great job.
the from
Thank you so
the
much.
the brothers in blue.
Mhm.
I know that you're working, and I know it's working with them.
Mhm.
I
If,
appreciate it, sir.
and
Thank
it,
you,
it is
everybody.
it is shown in the reaction
Mhm.
of the Jacksonville PD, those officers. I've watched them. I've had interaction with them from time to time in a good way, not in a bad way. But I see them, and you know what? The respect, the difference in the overall attitude
Yeah.
that some of these guys, all of these guys that I run into have.
Mhm.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
You
Oh,
pulled
wow.
off a
She's done
freaking
amazing.
miracle.
Thank
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
She's an
I'm
amazing young lady. Amazing.
speechless. So
Yeah.
grateful for y'all. And I couldn't do it with all of the tutelage and mentorship that I've gotten from y'all just embracing me and working together and
Yep.
being willing to
Well,
undertake this with me.
you
So
got an
thank
open
you.
chair here any day you want it.
I
Heck
appreciate
yeah.
Well, I
that.
thank you for what you do for our community, Kelly, every day for what she does
Yeah,
too.
well,
But
well, I blame her for most of the problems, but it's okay.
yeah, because we hear a lot about it, and sometimes she'll ask us, "Will you go with me?"
I've
And
drug
so
Lee to stuff a lot. She's like,
so, and I
she
just
gets
find it so
nervous now.
I'm like, what's next?
She won't take me anywhere. She's afraid of
Rachel
me.
don't know how to act in public. I'm just kidding, Rachel.
It's just
just
it's just
I don't.
amazing though,
I
and
admit it.
for someone to be as young as you are, to be so knowledgeable, and you've put forth so much into this field, it's just great to see.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
good to see.
Thank
Does
you.
my heart
yeah,
good.
Thank you.
with
It
you-
fills my cup.
And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure
I
with
love it.
you under certain conditions because of your stature, you probably need a really big bullhorn to get through to some individuals.
Oh no,
Yeah,
she can do it.
some individuals that I know and kids, I don't know how you do that, but some of the hard-headed other people, your fellow colleagues, sometimes you may have to use a bullhorn.
What I lack in stature, I make up for
She
in
commands
boisterousness, sir.
attention.
Yeah.
Yes.
She commands attention. I've
And
seen
if that doesn't
Yeah.
work, a 1970 something stick over there on the wall will.
I have a feeling she could sit down
Oh, she can hold
with
her
you
own.
at a game of chess and wipe you out within 10 minutes. No doubt.
Thank y'all so much.
She does a
Absolutely.
good job. Yeah.
I
Yes.
just throw the board away.
I
win.
done.
Like playing Monopoly, if
done.
somebody sweeps the
There
board
you
down
go.
to the
yes.
ground.
You
Yeah.
win. You lose. I
Yeah.
win.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
As
Yeah.
a closing, Shannon, what kind of advice can you give our listeners, our parents that are listening, what to look for as far as issues with their child vaping and hiding it or whatever?
Sure. My number one piece of advice would be to check in and monitor your adolescent. How are they doing mentally? What do they have in their book bag? Who are their
Oh.
friends? Get to know their friends. What do they like? What lights them up? How do we find the things that are not vaping to light them up and make them passionate about what they're doing now and what their future is going to look like?
I would strongly recommend
Look in the
ham
book
radio
bag.
and scuba diving. It worked for me.
Yeah.
Whatever pick something else that doesn't require you to be socially acceptable to the people of that particular culture. Be the outsider.
Yeah,
That's the way that would be a great way to do it. Be your own
Yes.
man or woman.
that's what we're all trying to do
That's
here,
right.
I think.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, Shannon.
I learned a
Thank
lot.
you.
I'll be seeing you.
Hope you have
Absolutely.
a wonderful
Yes.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, you all as well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yep.
Anytime.
been a
Come on
pleasure.
down. Bring it on.
Now
Yeah.
she's got to go to work.
Oh yes, I've gotten a Locksbox training this morning at
You've been at work for the past hour.
Yeah,
you tell the
so
chief that
I'm
you've done
So you say
good.
she's done. She can go home for the rest of the day.
Put you on OT today. You're good.
oh, I can't go home. We got the JPD versus Onslow County Sheriff's Office
That's
softball game tonight.
Who's
So
gonna win?
oh, I
Be careful.
You know, she's
I'm
gonna
torn.
say JPD.
I know. I gotta say
Stay home.
JPD. We gotta get the W today.
Oh,
Are they going to use billy
wow.
clubs like
No,
nightsticks this
they're
time? Or
using
they're gonna use
regular
I
bats.
forgot
Yeah.
about that tonight.
Well, I got a real bat over there. It's a
Yeah, but
60
you can't.
something.
That's signed. You can't use that.
Oh, I can't use that.
No, that's
You don't want to
signed.
stain the sign. No,
Where's it going to be held at, Shannon?
It's at
Oh, do you know
the
what that is?
Jack in me out.
Oh, it's at Jack and yeah. Oh, yeah.
At the ball field.
Should have
No,
known.
ball
Hello,
field.
having a
Not
moment.
ball
Yeah.
field, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was 6:30.
6:30.
Yes.
Yes.
I may have to try to.
And I think
rearrange
it's
my
$10
Mhm.
donation fee to get
Mhm.
in. So
Yes.
Good. All right. Thank
I
you.
may have to
Have a
try to
good rest of
something
your
out.
day, and
Yeah.
thank you for coming in.
Thank you. It was a
Absolutely. Thank you
pleasure.
for having me again.
And have a
Y'all are
great
wonderful.
training
Thank
today.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, have
Okay.
fun.
Yes.
Okay.
She'll do good.
I know you'll enjoy it.
She will do well.
Appreciate y'all.
Take care.
We got to do weather.
Yeah, we're going to do weather. The marine forecast for all of my fellow boating enthusiasts out there is brought to you by Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville. Two young kids, we just been talking about them, students at a local middle school, treated for what appears to have been a drug overdose. A preliminary investigation shows that both of these students are believed to have shared the same vaping instrument. That instrument has been seized, and a criminal investigation is ongoing. If you even suspect that your kids may be experimenting with vaping, you should really know that it can be serious. It's proven deadly in other areas of the country. Not all vape products are harmless. And even if you look at those products, it's doubtful that you or I could tell the difference between the good ones and the bad ones. It might be time to get some education. Community Prevention Services, located right here in Jacksonville, can help parents identify the harmful products. Law enforcement officers have conducted inspections of dozens of shops. We've got over 70 in this community that promote and sell vaping products. I was coming in from Swansboro Saturday night, I think it was. The lights along Highway 24 blinded me.
Yeah, I'll tell you what,
It
it'll
was
wake you up if
ridiculous.
it's at night. Yeah.
If you suspect your child is already using the products and you haven't been able to get through to them, you can utilize the services of the counselors to help you. This might be the time to call to set up an appointment. It is definitely better than getting a call from the school, the police department, or the hospital about your child. And I would have gone one step further, because back in the day, I had to make a couple of those calls. Well, I did not investigate situations where people were alive.
Yeah.
Those were not good days.
Agreed.
Call today, 910-353-0972. You'll be one step closer to making sure that you get to fix Christmas dinner for your child. They also accept most insurance plans, and you should know that nothing, absolutely nothing you tell them is going to be shared with the cops, your neighbors, your friends,
No.
your relatives. Nobody going to
Can't do
know.
that.
It's between you and them. It's
Correct.
all confidential. The number again, 910-353-0972. Offshore today, get your water thrills in early. Tonight through Saturday night, a small craft advisory will be in effect, meaning that if you have a small boat, you should
You might
probably
not wanna
stay
buy
off
it.
the ocean.
Yeah, don't
That's
go
what
on
a
the-
small craft advisory is all about.
Yes. Stay out of
You
the
know,
water, people.
Let me just write this on the wall. Small craft advisory. Stay home.
Yep.
Or stay off the big water. Northwesterly winds around 5 knots today. Like I said, today's okay. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Today is okay. 3-foot waves from the southeast, 8 seconds apart. Today is nice. In fact, Sounds and Rivers flat is good. Overnight, winds are going to pick up, making the ocean pretty choppy, if not rough. Northeasterly winds tomorrow, 20 to 25 knots, gusts to 30, seas 4 to 6 feet, 2 to 4 near shore, Sounds and Rivers rough. Sunday, easterly winds around 10, becoming southeasterly in the afternoon. They're getting better. 3 to 5 footers, 2 to 3 near shore, Sounds and Rivers a light chop.
Today, it says mostly cloudy, but the sun's out. So I'm not even sure at this
The
point. But the
sun's
high will be
out.
79. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 53. Tomorrow, it'll be sunny, but high will be 68 with 20-mile-an-hour gusts. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 46. Sunday will be partly sunny, a high of 74.
And I just want to take a moment that during Shannon's visit with us this morning, which I find she's a remarkable,
her.
intelligent young
Yep.
lady.
I love her.
but we had a delivery, and I'm sure you can smell it. We've
Yeah,
got
it was
breakfast
My
came in
stomach's
the
growling.
door.
It was a little 5-pound, 8-ounce baby.
Yeah. Well,
You said a delivery. Isn't that what you meant?
no, we have breakfast, and we
We have
were
breakfast.
also
Oh, my goodness
sent
gracious.
this Rayford, and we all know him without even asking.
Live with promise. Oh, that is good.
Yes.
Love with passion. Laugh with pleasure.
We
That's
love you,
what we
Theo.
kind of preach around here on a regular
Right.
basis. Theo, this goes up on the
We
wall. And
love
I'm
Yes,
gonna
it
play.
does.
If I try to do it now, it'll make a lot of noise when I
And,
drop it.
and I just want to say,
Thank you, Theo.
Theo is staunch in his beliefs,
I support him.
and-
I respect him.
but Theo has always been a friend of ours.
Yep.
And even though we may not agree on a lot of things, we agree to the friendship.
Oh, absolutely.
And we and Theo's really, if you knew Theo, he's a great guy.
He's a good guy.
And thank you, Theo, for breakfast.
First
I
time,
can't
I,
wait.
first time I met him in person,
I'm so hungry.
he was scared of me, I think.
Yes.
But we broke bread together.
We all went
Yes.
out to dinner.
We
We've
went
gone
to
to Theo
dinner.
and his
Yes.
lovely wife.
Why did
I
we
mean,
go to? But let's
yeah.
put it this way, without getting. Yeah, I'm going to do it anyway, Theo, because you'll love it. The reason we went out to dinner is because he lost a bet,
Well, we
Oh, yeah.
agreed to disagree. And even though
and we didn't talk politics that evening.
Not at
Yeah.
all.
Not one time. We,
and even
so we
though
can
he
do that.
labels us as deplorables.
We don't care that he
I
does
accept it. You can
Yeah.
get away with it,
Yes.
Theo, in a heartbeat.
Yes.
We love it.
But
Yeah.
thank you so much for breakfast and the beautiful sign.
And I know you
smells so
don't
good.
really mean that we're deplorables any more than I mean that you're adorable.
What?
Well, I do think he's adorable. So I do think that.
Yeah.
But
I do too.
He
Theo,
does-
you're
he does
great.
a
You're a
good
great
job.
guy. You got a great
I'm
family.
going to go see what's
Yes.
in that box.
Oh, I know. I'm so hungry. Just smelling it.
All right. I think I got the phone working again because we were having some trouble with it there for a while. I had to punch it 3 times then to get it to work. Let's
yeah.
see.
Well, we just didn't want to answer it while Shannon was on here because we wanted to
we
give
had
her
some
her
questions
time.
and without interruption. We
Right.
had sometimes when you're on a roll and with interviews, that's what we do.
Yes.
Who's this?
Hey, let me ask you guys a question.
Shoot.
If I send you brunch, are you going to be nice to me?
I'm not, probably not. I can't be bought.
Listen,
I mean, you send me a new boat. It's the one that I want's 45 feet is $1.375 million, but
Oh yeah.
then I'll be nice to you.
you guys were very rude to me earlier.
Okay.
Well, we had a
Get
guest in
over
the
it, Charlie.
studio.
Get over it. We have other things to do besides you. Sorry about that. But sometimes you become to the point that you're self-absorbed in yourself,
Oh my gosh.
period. Bottom line. And we've got other fish to fry around here. You know what I mean?
So you do okay. So you go okay.
Okay. Now, can I ask you a couple of questions? Do you mind?
Go ahead.
Okay, you've got an unlisted number or whatever. It doesn't show up on our caller ID. We don't know who you are. I have no idea who you are. I know that your name you say is Charlie. I take you at your face value for that, except I can't see your face. I don't know where you are. What part of the country are you in?
I'm in California.
Okay, so why do you call the 90 radio stations talk shows? Why do you do that? Just questioning. I'm asking you this because other people have asked me the same thing about you.
Honestly,
Yeah.
somebody in your private life has said, "Who is this Charlie guy that called into
Oh,
your
wait,
show?"
it's not my
Honestly,
private life, it's in my public life. I don't have much of a private life, but somebody who actually a couple of our guys have asked me privately, but not in my private life, who is Charlie and what's he all about? You're not the
I
only one.
told you.
You're not the only one they asked that of, by the way. But go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I'm not looking for validation for you to tell me that I'm a good person. No, I told you I go to YouTube and I just type in live shows.
Okay.
But I wanted to call in earlier and talk to your host about the drug epidemic that's going on in our country right now.
Uh-huh.
So, do you guys know what a synthetic drug is?
Yes. Fentanyl is one of
Do
them.
your co-hosts know what synthetic drugs are?
Yes.
Do my co-host know what synthetic drugs are? One of them is a counselor, and she deals with a lot with substance abuse and drug and the drug epidemic. Yes, the other one has been on the side of law enforcement for quite some time. But go ahead.
So they both know that basically synthetic drugs are artificially modified chemicals to create some sort of psychoactive effect. Correct? They know that, right?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. So
It's actually to
here's
make
what
money.
So here's what I wanted to call in earlier. And here's what I think that every single person listening to your show can take from this, and even your host can take from this, even if they've been in the drug rehab program for 2 weeks or 100 years. If you're during your youth, if you take synthetic drugs like acid, speed, other chemical combined drugs, it's going to screw up your DNA. So now if you have children, those kids are going to have that DNA. So I know many people, they have their children, they're so messed up. They're like, why is my daughter, why is she depressed? Why does she want to take her life? Why is she stressed out? Because of you moron. You did a massive amount of drugs in your childhood. Your child is suffering because he or she is suffering the consequences because of your actions. So no amount of therapy, no amount of we're going to work with you, we're going to put you on this. You screwed your child. I want your two therapists to tell me that I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me why that if I have a child, if I did 1,000 tons of acid in my youth from, let's say, age 12 to 19,
you will be
then
dead.
I have children, how are my children not affected by the drugs that I did? Go ahead, tell me that.
Well, I didn't say they weren't affected. Some are, some aren't. But you got to also chalk up issues with people today, adults and children, as all the chemicals in the food they're eating as well. If you don't think...
Okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. You're right. And you know what? I saw John Kennedy, who Trump's going to hire, I think is great. He talked about how Fruit Loops have so many chemicals.
You're talking about Robert Kennedy, not John Kennedy. Robert Kennedy. Okay, go ahead.
I apologize. Robert Kennedy talked about how there's 100 chemicals in Fruit Loops in America, but in Canada there's only 3 chemicals. I truly believe, and I've never done acid, I've never done speed, I've never done any other sort of drugs in my childhood, but I think if I did maybe 100 tablets of that, and I met a woman, and we had kids, and my child is messed up, she's depressed, she wants to kill herself, I'm going to say to myself, you know what? I'm responsible for that. My DNA is passed on to her because of all the drugs that I did. Yes or no?
Not necessarily.
But kind of maybe. Maybe not necessarily, but maybe, right?
Potentially, but you can't 100% definitively say
No.
it was all the acid you dropped in 1968.
My DNA. It's in my DNA. I was growing up in my youth. My body was developing. My genes were developing. Your genes were developing.
So what genes, let me ask you this. What genes are you saying that are directly affected by someone using acid?
I don't know, but I think it's a massive chemical.
Well, then how do you know?
Then why are we
You know what? I'm going to, you go ahead and talk. Let me talk for 20 seconds. Go ahead.
No, how do you know that using acid affects any gene?
Okay, if it can be proven, okay, let me ask you this. If it can be proven that if one does these massive chemicals that basically take someone's brain, their DNA, to another level and infects it and pollutes them.
Polluting your brain, but polluting
you're not willing to admit that. That's the problem. You're not willing to admit that. You're basically saying that you need to address the symptoms.
Okay, hold up. Okay, let me say something. Polluting your brain and affecting your genes are 2 different things. So what are we talking about here? Genetics are genetics.
Did you do drugs in your childhood? Did you ever do acid or chemical drugs in your childhood?
I did not do acid, no. My friend did. I watched him do it. Just why I didn't.
Did your friend have children?
Yes.
Are they well-adjusted children, or do they have a lot of psychological problems?
One's a lawyer, one's a doctor.
Perfect. Now, if one was completely out of their mind and they couldn't understand what was wrong with this kid, could it potentially contribute to all the drugs they did in their childhood? Their mother or father did. Well,
name all the drugs. Dropping 3 hits of acid.
This is weird. You know what? You're avoiding my question.
I'm not avoiding your question. You're asking me to hypothetically speak on something, okay? Tell me what gene would be 100% directly affected, then I could say yes. Like we've narrowed genetics down. For example, we know that Alzheimer's is contributed directly to a gene. We know that alcoholism is directly attributed to a gene. Tell me what gene you are saying is directly affected by someone using acid. That's my question to you. Then I can better answer your question. If you can say it's APO4 or whatever, then yes. But to make a blanket statement, you can't. No one can answer that.
I don't think it's a blanket statement. I think there's probably some in the medical community that have an advanced understanding of how the human DNA works. They would say yes. You brought a substance into your body as a youth, as a young person, a young man or young lady. You got someone pregnant, and you've passed that horrible chemical onto your children, it affected their brain, and they're going to suffer. And you can send them to therapy for the rest of their life. You can say, we need you to do this, you can do this. No, you need to say, you know what, I screwed up. You're a mess because I was a mess, and you're going to suffer the rest of your life.
Oh
That's
my
just
God.
what I
So
believe.
which medical source are you using so that I can go check it?
I think it's something that we need to talk about.
But
What is it a? I mean, I could talk about tinfoil hats too, but that doesn't mean that they're aliens or gamma rays coming in to impact me. But tell me what you said. You think, your quote was, "I think that medical sources or medical personnel would agree with you," basically. So, which ones?
I don't have a thorough understanding of what DNA is.
Okay.
I'm not sure what happens out here. But let me say this. I'm not sure what happens if you introduce or you pollute one's DNA at the young age, where you introduce something to their system that they're not familiar with, something that interrupts their DNA. It's something that contributes a pollution to their DNA. I truly believe that.
Okay.
I think if you eat Cheerios or Fruit Loops, there's probably a side effect that you're going to experience. Horrific acid. And they have kids, and they can't understand why their kids are messed up. And I'm like, they're messed up because of the choices that you made. And that's never talked about.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. All of these people that you know that dropped a lot of acid.
Okay,
I think you said these people that you know who dropped a lot of acid. They've got kids who are screwed up. What kind of shape are those parents in today? How did they develop, or did they just?
Some of the parents are successful, but their kids are complete. Their children are absolutely lacking survival skills.
okay,
They're lacking survival skills.
I'm going to read this. Okay. Science.org. We believe that pure LSD ingested in moderate doses does not damage chromosomes in vivo, does not cause detectable genetic damage.
Did you say we believe or we know?
We believe this is based on their.
We believe. Go ahead.
Does not cause detectable genetic damage and is not a tetragen or a carcinogen in man. I'm going to read this and see what else this is. That's just what popped up when I typed it in.
Right.
So they did a study, 9 studies. Yep. So they did a study, 21 chromosomal studies in vivo, 310 subjects were examined. So this was a medical study done. So to answer your question, they could not prove that it was passed on in uterus.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Do you have a son or a daughter?
I have 2 daughters.
Okay, I'm sure your daughters are beautiful. They're great. They're wonderful. Let me ask you a question. Let's say your 2 daughters were going to enter a relationship with 2 different people. The father or the mother of one of them did an extraordinary amount of acid or other, and the other did nothing. Which one would you pick your child to have a relationship with?
I'm not involved in that. I don't pick who they were with.
No, you know for a fact you would say, I would not want my child involved with someone whose mother or father did massive amounts of.
I would never say that. Like, what is wrong with you right now? I would never say that because you cannot prove.
I would not want my child involved with a.
Okay.
Because,
Then that's your choice,
That's your
Charlie.
choice.
That's your choice. That's the way you would live, and that's the way you would
But I'm
operate.
not going to punish a kid for the sins of their parents.
Okay, well, no, you're not punishing the kid. The kid is innocent. It's the DNA that's been passed on to them.
Yeah.
It's the DNA that's been passed on to
I
them.
just read to you that it doesn't affect, and now you're not
They're
listening.
pollution. They're effing pollution.
I would be more worried about the red dye number 4 and all that stuff before I am this. And
This is why we're so screwed up.
well, I don't think I am screwed up, so that would be me. And the
You're
other thing
not
is,
screwed up. Let me ask you a question. Let's say I'm an alcoholic and I've got a son, and he likes your daughter, and I'm a severe alcoholic, and I've been an alcoholic since I'm 15 years old. Would you want your daughter to be involved with my son?
I would want my daughter
No.
to be educated to what potentially happened.
You're avoiding.
What have I avoided? I've answered every question you've asked me. So please tell me what I have avoided. Because I'm not answering what you want me to?
No, because you're avoiding it. You know why I think you're avoiding it? Because I think you have those things in your past that you're trying to.
Oh my God! Hold, Charlie. Enough is freaking enough. You're out there in left field, so far in left field, you will never catch a fly. Nothing is out there for you. You will argue with a signpost, sir, but you will not argue with a signpost on this radio show ever again. Okay, we're back.
Wow. Okay. What a way to end the week.
I think it's a great way to start the week.
First, it was the stress of politics.
That's not a stress. That was a warm-up game.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, this
I listened to all I needed
week
to listen
started off
to.
very, very busy. And it was like, I appreciate Charlie's views, but enough is enough.
I can appreciate
I
your
don't
views, but I do not
going after Kelly like that.
You won't do that.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it. Get your own radio show.
But I answered his questions just because I didn't say what he wanted me to say.
But sometimes there are some people that no matter what you say, you just.
You know what? It's
Mama.
There's some people that you can't even beat into them common sense.
Apparently not.
Okay, look at the boxers in the ring.
Well, I just told everybody to come out to the Veterans Day parade tomorrow.
Yeah,
We're going to be there.
See us and
Yell at us. Say, hey.
Come on, we can't throw you any candy because we're going to be eating.
I don't think we're allowed to throw.
Because we're going to eat it anyway.
I'm eating it now.
I know.
Yeah.
If you got any leftover candy, you can kind of give it. No, I'm kidding. Don't come out in the road. Just wave. And Theo, for God's sakes, let us know where you're going to be.
He's holding up a sign.
Yeah, but I might miss it.
I'm going to be looking for it.
We're not going to miss it. We're going to see
He'll
it.
holler at us. He did before.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? Sometimes I might be looking the other way.
I'll say, Rayford, there's Theo.
There's Theo.
Yeah.
Hey, Theo.
Because I know what Theo looks like. So
I do too.
Yeah.
We've had dinner with him.
Too.
Yeah.
He's been in here.
I love Theo.
He stopped us at the parade last year.
He did.
Right up as we were packing up.
We need to get Theo to ride Theo in here one morning. Timmy can make that happen.
Oh, that'd be
I
interesting.
want pictures.
Okay.
I want pictures.
That would, and for those that don't know,
we could turn Theo loose in the backyard. He couldn't get over the fence. I mean, neither one of them could. But
Donkey Man Tim had a little donkey, and he named it. Yeah, a couple of years ago, and he named him after Theo. Named him Theo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Theo Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was going to name it, if it had been a female, Theo Lima or something like that.
Yeah. But it turned out to be a male.
Yep.
So
Good.
It's like little Theo Jr.
I like one of the comments we just got on our Facebook on today's show.
Uh-oh.
I would not want the child involved, and that's Robin calling, with a drug or alcohol abuser, but the children are not that person.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct. That's what I was trying to say.
Let me
You
just
can't
back
punish
up.
the kid for the sins of the
Let
parent.
me just back up. My daughter is 13 or 14.
Right.
And at that age, a boy is the same age.
Yeah, like
or a year
14 or
older.
13. Yeah.
Probably would not want them because they're going to end up at the other house at some point in time. And if the other parent is not, an alcoholic's not necessarily going to be passing along his stuff to the kids.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I would have the boy at my house, not let my daughter go there.
If
hello.
you were going to, you may want to step in and question it or whatever. But there would be reason to then warn said daughter of all the possibilities out there, right? Robin, is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
What up?
I'm just listening to the. I don't know what I was listening to, but I just wanted to say kudos to Shannon for her work and kudos to my wife. Kudos to my wife. And you said something about gaining the trust of the blue LE Brew. I can't even talk.
The cops, brothers in blue.
That's right. So it takes a lot more than just cops and people on the streets, stuff like that. And I just want to commend Shannon for gaining the respect of the PD officers and other fellow law enforcement officers for the work she does. And I commend my wife. My wife is dedicated to her profession. She's a professional. She's smart.
And I just want to put out a warning to, I guess his name is Mike, or whatever, Charlie. Whatever his name is.
We don't know what his name is. He says it's Charlie.
I don't know, but just based on, my 29 years as a law enforcement officer, his comments and his eccentric behavior, there's something that he inherited from his parents. Obviously, I think he's going to use that logic. Somewhere in his family line, his DNA was corrupt.
I haven't thought about it along those lines.
Well, but apparently somebody was missing a chromosome or something because to get him all agitated. So there must be some mental illness in his history of his family. That's just me. That's just my opinion. But
well, your opinion is as good as his.
Yep, and and then you're talking about DNA and all this stuff. Kelly's not a doctor. He's not a doctor. She read a report. He didn't accept it. Move on. It's over with there, Charlie. Forget about it. You just want to argue with the signpost. I like what you said. You would argue with the signpost.
My grandmama told me that one years ago.
Yeah, but I want to commend my wife because she is really dedicated to her profession and what she does. She takes it very, very seriously. My wife probably works more hours than anybody I know, even until 11, 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning. She's answering client calls and she responds to people. So kudos to her and kudos to Shannon for a great job that they're doing. And the fact that, when you make a comment that, because somebody's an alcoholic and they're going to pass that gene on, or somebody took some LSD or somebody took some MDMA, they're going to pass that gene on. Wrong. I've seen so many kids whose parents were addicted, they were drug dealers, and the kids have come out right. They become doctors and lawyers like Kelly's friends. They become superb athletes. So I don't know where he got his
let's just put it on your level and my level. Do you think that kind of a statement could get introduced into a court of law without challenge?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so wait, I quit. Give it up. So.
If that were the case, he made a comment about, we can't do anything about it. Then all these cops that are in law enforcement and we're in narcotics work and stuff like that, we know we can't control the world. We can't stop it completely. But whatever we're doing in our particular function, whatever we're doing in our particular community, we can lessen it, and we're not going to give up. We're never going to quit. We're always
never.
If we can save one person's life, it's worth it.
Yeah,
That's right.
So,
and you've already saved one in the last month, so good for you. Thank you.
Right.
all right, guys. Take
Bye.
care.
Appreciate it, Robin.
Thank you, Robin.
Jacksonville PD still looking for the missing and what they call missing and endangered 33-year-old man, Derico T. Sanders II. He was missing. He's been missing since Wednesday, about 8 o'clock in the evening. Last seen in the area of Meadows Gates Apartments off Western Boulevard, and reported to be wearing a black zip-up jacket.
No.
Okay.
Did you check your Gmail for the?
I've been looking at it all
Okay.
along. Gray undershirt, gray sweatpants, and black shoes. Also known to have some intellectual disabilities and takes medication. There's a reason for them being concerned about this. So if you see this guy, Derico T. Sanders II, he's been missing since Wednesday in the Jacksonville area since Wednesday evening about 8 o'clock. Please contact Jacksonville PD, 910-455-4000. That's an easy number to remember, 910-455-4000.
Right.
Okay.
Sheriff's office just released something, so that may be what was coming your way.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Midway Park arrest update just happened, just been released.
Yes.
Give me a minute. We don't have to leave the air. Second person. Good. Yay. Knew it was happening. Wouldn't wait
Yes.
for it to happen. Second guy has been charged after fentanyl found during a Midway Park traffic stop. Arrested and charged with multiple drug offenses after
Good.
fentanyl was found during the traffic stop in Midway Park in late October. On the 30th, Halloween Eve, deputies conducted a traffic stop near the corner of Piney Green Road and Rocky Run Road. During the stop, deputies discovered the passenger, Timothy Earl Scott. He's 43, in possession of trafficking amounts of fentanyl. They got him on this week. A warrant was served for the driver. I told you that this other guy was 33 years old, right? Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Yes.
The driver's 71.
Wow.
71-year-old David Carroll of Jacksonville, arrested without incident, charged with felony trafficking of opium or heroin times 3 times.
Mhm.
And that is for the fentanyl they had. Felony maintain a dwelling or a vehicle for controlled substance, felony manufacture of Schedule II controlled substance, felony possession with manufacture, sale, distribute controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia. He's in the jailhouse at age 71 of $85,000 secured bond.
And there you go.
He's already had his first court appearance. His next court date is scheduled for December 5th, so he will likely be there. Here's a good one for you. Crime Stoppers offers cash rewards of up to $5,000 for information that's deemed of value or assistance to law enforcement. If you see something, say something. If you know something, call the police, all right? If you know that your next door neighbor is trafficking, or you suspected even that he's dealing drugs, the behavior is of such that cars are driving up and then leaving a minute or two later. If the red light comes on the porch, if there's a red light that comes on in the Northwoods neighborhood
Hey,
on a porch, and it
That's
comes on
fine.
late at the afternoon,
he's talking about drugs.
Okay.
if it comes on and you see cars driving up, doing a little turn in the cul-de-sac there,
Don't use red
and they
anymore.
are doing nothing but picking up dope, call the police. The sooner you call them and you let them know that this is happening right now, they might be able to do a quick arrest. Once
There
they
you
got
go.
one arrest, then they got grounds to do a whole lot more, including
And
search warrants.
There you
That's
go.
my little tip of the day.
All
And you
right.
could you could be $5,000 richer.
Right.
Okay, tomorrow, 10 o'clock, be in place before then, because things are going to be happening at
Right.
the Veterans Day Parade. Veterans
go out and
Parade.
support your
Veterans
veterans.
Parade. And go support them, okay?
Yes, please. It's very important. Show the love.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. It's been a great week.
We got
Oof, I'm
food over
exhausted.
there. Is that from Helen's? I think it's from Helen's Kitchen, isn't it?
Thank you, Theo,
Thank you,
again.
Theo. We're going to chow down now. Theo, come
That's
on over
right.
and join us.
We have to hang up.
We will see you up Monday morning bright and early if we don't see you tomorrow. But if you see us, please shout out, okay? We will have a little bit of music playing. It's
Right.
patriotic stuff.
Yes.
You military guys will all recognize it.
That's right.
All right?
Mhm.
And then we'll be back Monday morning.
Right.
You're live and local, real talk, where we are always awake and never woke. But that never could be more true this week than this week, because we've been awake all week long. See you Monday. Have a good day. Great weekend. Be safe.